Okay, welcome everyone to Spirit of Health and Natural High Wellness Center. Tonight's class is on how to supplement, and I'm so excited there's so many people here because this is such a critically important subject. People out there taking a million different supplements that have no idea what they're doing. I'm sorry, they don't. And I'm going to explain to you why people don't know what they're doing. And I'm going to make it so simple for you, it's going to be like mind-boggling that it's this easy to learn how to supplement properly. Okay? So what I've done is I've broken it down into basically 3 steps, 3 phases. The first step is what every single human being needs. Okay? We know we're all different. We know we all have different genetics. Okay? We all know we have different maybe issues going on at this time, different health concerns and things like that. But at the same time, we're all designed exactly the same. So there's basic things that every single one of us need. One of the biggest problems I run into when I'm trying to help someone or fix someone or balance someone when it comes to a health condition is they don't even have the basic things in their body for health. So they're running to the store, they're doing research, and they're taking all these products that they think might help them, but they've never built the proper foundation. Okay, so it's all about building a proper foundation first. The example I always give, just like the parable in the Bible. If you build a house, well, let me just ask you guys. I mean, if anybody's built a house, what does a house need to be built on? A foundation. What's that foundation usually made out of? Concrete, usually, right? Okay, so if you build a house on a concrete foundation, you know that most likely it's going to last a long time, right? If you build a house on sand without a foundation, what's going to happen? It's going to fall. It's going to break. There's going to be problems. It might not happen overnight, but it will happen. But it will eventually happen. So just think of your bodies as an example, okay? And the phase 1 will be this foundation that we need to build. Okay, but what happens is, compare yourself to a house. Okay? You haven't built a good foundation. Or let's say you've lost your foundation over the course of years. What starts to happen? The foundation starts to crack, you start to get cracks in your walls, the windows start to break, the floor starts to get all nasty and hard and worn and things like that. So what do? We paint, we fix windows, we seal cracks. It's kind of the same thing people are doing with their health. They're band-aiding themselves. Eventually, especially if you have a house built on sand, eventually it's a better idea just to start over. Build a new foundation, build a stronger house. So that's what we're going to work on doing. Okay? So the second phase of supplementing is things that everybody can benefit from, but they're not the critical things for that foundation. And that's totally, really going to depend on, I put a little note there, that really kind of depends on how you're eating, what you're doing. Even if you eat fast food 3 meals a day, okay, you need phase 1. You need that foundation more than anything. But when it comes to phase 2, there's going to be more things you need than the person who's eating fruits and vegetables and avoiding junk and drinking water, not drinking soda and alcohol and those kind of things on a regular basis. Okay? So it's kind of going to depend on you, phase 2. And then phase 3 is specific to what you need. Again, if you have a specific health concern, some type of a condition, some type of a diagnosed illness, you need to figure out if you have an organ or a system that's weak or that's blocked and we need to undo a blockage, or we need to heal a specific organ or organ system or something like that. We'll get more specific in phase 3. Okay, but those are the 3 basic phases. Again, I just try to make it super duper simple. So if you want to flip the page, and I'm going to probably spend the majority of my time right here because it is the foundation and it's critical to everything. We have no idea the importance of water in our society. We have no idea. You might think you do, but you really have no idea how important water is to life. You can link pretty much all diseases in this country to dehydration, to a lack of water and to a lack of minerals. I went to a seminar last week. I don't know if any of you have ever heard of Dr. Wallach. but he is a brilliant man. There's a lot of controversy surrounding this guy, but he's done more autopsies than any doctor in the entire country. He's done autopsies on 3,000 human beings and 450 different species of animals. Okay? On doing these autopsies, thousands and thousands of autopsies, he knows exactly what deficiency of what mineral causes all of these different diseases and how to correct them. He's done it in animals and he's done it in people. It boggles his mind that zoos have hired him and paid him money to figure out why their animals are sick and why their animals are dying. 99% of the time, it's some type of a mineral or nutrient deficiency because they're not eating what they ate in the wild. They're eating food we've prepared for them or given them. Even if we think it's equivalent, it's not. So they're dying of deficiencies. So he'll go to a zoo and he'll say, your lions are sick because they're deficient in this. They'll give the animal that nutrient and the disease reverses and the animals aren't sick anymore. He's done this with zoos all across the country. We've learned how to heal animals, but we ignore it when it comes to human beings.
Well, how does he know what mineral is deficient in that lion?
Because he's done autopsies on every single one of them. When you do an autopsy, I mean, you search the whole body. You find out what's wrong, what's degenerating, what causes it to be degenerating. It's through autopsy. So it angers him so much that we can give animals nutrients so they're healthy and they don't get diseases, but we completely ignore it in the medical community. You might once in a while hear a doctor mention magnesium, okay? Because everybody knows about magnesium. But how about the other 80 minerals? It's completely ignored, and it's very, very, very sad. So again, this is part of this foundation. Water, okay? Water is a living substance, okay? Our water supply is polluted. There's 2,100 known contaminants in tap water. It's linked to every disease you can possibly think of. It's the number one thing that hardens our arteries. It's actually the chlorine in the water that does that. So then what are people doing? They're drinking bottled water, which is just recycled tap water, usually from municipal water supplies like New York City, when you drink Dasani and Aquafina and things like that. Or we're taking the nutrients, I'm sorry, not the nutrients, but the contaminants out, but we're taking the minerals out with it, which is reverse osmosis and distilled water. Okay? That water is poisonous. Okay? There's absolutely not one drop of nutrition or minerals in that water. It's dead water. Okay? When you put distilled water in plastic bottles, it'll actually attack the plastic molecules, causing an estrogenic effect on the body. The reason is because water is a living substance. When it rains, I give a brief description of this in here, but when it rains, the water goes into the earth, and what it's doing, it's seeking a negative charge, which comes from minerals. It's seeking minerals, okay? When it gets charged and when it gets mineralized and when it's at the right temperature, it comes back up, right? Into a spring, a natural spring, okay? That water does not come up, and if you've ever been at the source of a spring, that water is cold, it's fresh. You just know inherently in your soul that you can drink that water and it's perfectly safe. You can just feel it. Okay, because that's what water's supposed to be. Okay, we absolutely destroy our water. And on top of it, we don't get minerals back into our water. So we're dehydrated and we're demineralized. I know so many people who drink lots and lots of water and they're in a state of chronic dehydration. They have no idea, but they say, oh, I drink lots of water, so they think they're good. Okay? You're not. Okay, so the number one foundation, and water isn't even a supplement. I don't sell water in there, okay? But it's so important that I put it on here because that's what you need to survive. All we are is water and minerals. That's it. You want a quick anatomy lesson? We're water and minerals. You know, when we decompose, what's left? Minerals. That's it. That's all we are. Did you have a question, Rita?
Well, how do we get it? I mean, how do we get the good water with the minerals in it?
Well, we'll get there.
Okay.
I'm laying that foundation.
Okay.
I just really want to drive home the critical importance of this. Because again, you can link over 900 diseases to mineral deficiencies. The reason, I'll just give you one example, okay, and this is going to be shocking to you guys. Dr. Wallach, he did autopsies on children who had cystic fibrosis and who died of cystic fibrosis. He found out through his autopsies that every single one of these children are selenium deficient. Okay? So now when he works with children that have cystic fibrosis, he gives them selenium, 3 capsules 3 times a day. It reverses every single time. He published this in medical journals. He was completely shunned and ignored by the medical community. That's just one example of hundreds. Okay, so minerals, it's critically important. So yes, of course the question is, how in this day and age in our society, how do we get good water, get good mineralization? How many of you are drinking Adia, Clarity, minerals, water in your minerals? 3 of you? Okay, have you guys noticed the difference? Does anyone want to share what the difference is in their water with using that?
I've noticed that I don't drink probably even half what I used to drink. You know, I mean, my water intake has gone way down, and I'm not, feeling deprived of water. I'm not thirsty all the time.
Excellent.
So I assume that's because I'm hydrated better.
Absolutely. Anyone else?
I think it just tastes real good.
Mhm.
You feel the vibrance.
Right. Right. You want to add something?
I'm not really certain. I can't say I'm 100% but I was using trace minerals, so I've always taken them.
Right.
And you switched me over to that. And I have noticed in the last 2 months, that my eyesight is better.
Cool.
And that's the only different thing that I'm really doing. I really notice. But I know my husband, when that big container gets dry, he gets all upset because his water isn't there. It's like, yes, we have that water.
Right.
He feels a lot better during the day.
Good. So some of the things that were said were they don't need as much water anymore or feel like they need as much water, that tastes better, and eyesight getting better. Okay, you'll find out when you're properly hydrated and you're properly mineralized, 9 out of 10 of the problems and ailments and issues and lifelong things you've been battling just disappear. Okay? Microbes can't grow in a mineral-rich environment. Okay? Why do conventionally grown crops out in the farmer's field have to be sprayed with hundreds of different herbicides and pesticides and insecticides? Because the plants are weak. Okay? They're given the bare minimum number of minerals, 3 minerals. Plants need 3 minerals to grow out of the 80 that's in our soil. Okay? You give plants 3 minerals, they're going to get ravaged by insects and pests. Okay? You let a plant grow out in the wild, it's got all its minerals, you can let its roots grow deep, it doesn't get attacked by insects. Same thing inside your body. You got plenty of minerals in your body, you won't have overgrowth of candida and fungus and all these types of issues that are dealing with us. One of the main reasons we have infectious illnesses is because we're mineral deficient. Again, we could go on forever because I can link everything to mineral deficiencies. That's why it's such a critical foundation for your health. So, what can we do? The Adia Clarity minerals, okay? This is just one example, one brand name. I honestly, it's hidden back in my office right now. I can't even sell it right now because of what's going on over in Fukushima in Japan. The stuff is like liquid gold right now. You can't even find it anywhere because they're actually using it to clean rivers and lakes and ponds and things like that. It actually neutralizes radioactivity and nuclear waste. So this stuff is like gold right now.
Audio? Reason with the audio?
The Adia.
Really?
Yeah.
So you won't be able to sell it for a while?
Well, let's just say I'm getting another source.
Okay.
This source, that actually is from Japan. That, it's black mica, it's from volcanic activity, it was from Japan. But we have those types of minerals all over the world. Okay? So I'm actually just ordering from a new company. Same concept. It's volcanic-based minerals. It cleanses and purifies the water. It adds minerals and fulvic acids and zeolites and other things back into the water that cleanse and detoxify our system and that help us properly absorb and just really for the first time be properly hydrated and properly mineralized. But it can take months to remineralize the body. So that's why putting that Adia or something similar to that in the water on a consistent basis, you'll notice a huge difference within a month or 2. Everybody will. For right now, there's concentrates mineral drops. The company's Trace Minerals Research. That's actually the #1 selling mineral company in the country right now. Those are actually ocean-based minerals. They evaporate the sodium out because I think all of us probably get enough sodium in our diets. So they evaporate the sodium out, so it's the other 80 plus naturally occurring minerals, and you just add drops to your water. You can do electrolyte mineral packets, things like that, and what we'll get into in phase 2 is eating mineral-dense foods, okay? That's a whole nother conversation, but it's why we have to supplement these days, because most of the stuff is conventionally grown, even the organic stuff, it's not grown in the best soil. You guys know what organic means, right? Let me just throw this out here real quick. What does organic mean? Right, no pesticides, herbicides, or chemicals. What else does organic mean? That's pretty much it. That's pretty much the only standard to organic. So, who grew it? What kind of soil did it grow in? Did they use more than the 3 minerals that it needs to grow? We don't know. Have anybody ever heard of a Brix meter? Nobody? Okay, you have? A Brix meter is something that you can use to measure the density and the mineral content of a food. For example, if you have a tomato, if you want to just do a little test, put a tomato in a jar of water. If it floats, there's no minerals in that tomato. If it sinks, it's a nutrient-dense tomato. Okay? You can take a Brix meter and you can actually measure the density of your fruits and vegetables. If you go to Whole Foods, you'll actually see a little Brix reading on some of the fruits and vegetables because people are starting to get into that now. But just because it's organic doesn't mean it's loaded with minerals. It just means it wasn't sprayed with herbicides and pesticides. You're sometimes paying 3-4 times more for organic. It's great not to have pesticides on your fruit and vegetables, don't get me wrong, but you're not really getting nutrition out of it unless you know where it comes from or you've actually measured the nutrient density of it. So that being said, grow your own food. Put minerals, volcanic minerals and things like that in your garden. Oh my gosh, this conference I went to last week, there was an organic farmer there from Tulsa, Oklahoma. If you've ever grown, I'm not a big gardener, even though I'm getting into it more. This guy had, he called them cucumber towers. These cucumbers were 10 feet tall and 4 feet around. And he had multiple cucumber towers. He had mustard greens, the leaves were this big. Okay? It was ridiculous, the size of his fruits and vegetables, because he would put minerals in it. It's all about the minerals. Minerals in the soil. So he would add compost. He would add, horse manure. He would add volcanic minerals. If he found a source of something cheap, like that was a good volcanic source, he would add it to it. And over the years, he's tested it with his Brix meter, the mineral density of these fruits. Every year, the density of his fruits and vegetables increase. So this is something we can start doing today in our gardens for the future to have really nutrient-dense foods. But again, that's why we need to supplement today, because we're not getting them in the foods we eat. So you really want to add minerals of some sort to your diet, either the straight minerals or eating nutrient-dense superfoods. Again, like your greens, we'll get into that, those kind of things. So, any questions on water and minerals?
I have a question. I've got some clients that have been in service in Iraq, in Afghanistan, or maybe in Iraq, and they're coming back, and when they're tested, they have depleted uranium.
Right.
And I've had some questions about what they could do. Well, from what you said, I'm thinking that if they put this algae in their water, that would help them get out.
Yeah, so the question was about depleted uranium in the body. So if you have any kind of a nuclear toxicity, there's a lot of things I shouldn't say there are a lot of things. There's a few things you can do. Yes, like adding those types of minerals to the water would be good, but specifically zeolites is the specific thing that would help with that a lot. Your iodine, things like that would help, but the zeolites would be the best, which there are trace amount of zeolites in volcanic minerals like the black mica and things like that, but you want to get a more concentrated zeolite along with the black mica extract, like the Adia. Yeah.
What is a zeolite? Is that like a category of minerals?
Yeah, it's a type of mineral like fulvic acid, zeolites, humic acid, humic shell. I mean, these are all things that are from decomposed plant matter that just serve different functions. The zeolite mainly is a detoxification, chelating agent. It'll pull heavy metals and toxins and poisons and nuclear substances and all those things just right out of the body. If you have a mercury toxicity, anything like that, the concentrated zeolites help with that a lot. So, okay, so any other questions on water? I don't know if I probably gave you a good answer on what you can do in your water. You don't want to drink tap water. I think everybody probably knows that. I'm a big fan of alkaline ionized water, but the water machines are expensive. Okay, so the best thing I think you can do right now is do reverse osmosis water, not distilled. Distilled is the deadest dead of dead water you could ever possibly get. Okay, so reverse osmosis would be better, and add your minerals back into the water. That's probably the best the average person is going to be able to do right now.
Do you
Okay.
know any spring water can,
What's that?
do you know any spring water not only?
I don't. We're
searched,
looking for it.
I couldn't
A friend of mine, you know, Brandon Amalani, yeah, we're looking for spring water sources. He thinks he might have found one up by Excelsior Springs. We're going to go check it out. But if anybody finds a spring water source, give me a ring. Yeah, I mean, there are springs around here. It's just finding one that has public access where we can actually go fill up.
The only one around here, because when we went to New Orleans, I stopped over there because I knew who's over there and made my husband go out of the road.
So you know of one?
But it's in New Spring in New Orleans, and the
Oh.
other one is over here in Missouri, but I don't know. I can find the place because I have it in no close to me.
Okay.
To have drive.
Okay. Well, if there's
So
one
people-
close to here, let me know.
Okay.
All right. Yeah.
Did you use a Brix Meter to test water?
No. Brix Meter doesn't really work for water. You can get like TDS meters, just like total dissolved solids and pH and all those kind of things, but that's a whole nother conversation. But no, you don't use, you wouldn't use the Brix Meter to test water. Yeah. Okay, so the number 2 thing is greens. Okay. Before I go any further, I just want to give you another example. Okay. The longest lived cultures around the entire world, these first 5 things I listed, these are, again, this is what every human being needs. Okay? When it comes to supplementing, there's people taking CoQ10 and grapeseed extract. You know, there's all kinds of great stuff out there. Okay, there is. But I just have a wild feeling that the Hunzas in the Himalayas, who regularly live to be in their hundreds, don't take CoQ10. Maybe I'm wrong. That's just what I feel like. But I guarantee you they drink really good water with lots of minerals, and they eat lots of green foods. Okay, that's why these first 5 things are your foundation for health. Because this is what all the longest lived cultures in the world, by the way, one of the statistics they did of all the longest lived cultures around the world, they ate 900 to 1,000 calories every day. Calorie restriction. Okay, we're the most overfed, undernourished culture in the entire planet. You don't need a lot of food to survive, but you actually need to put something that provides nutrition to your body, which very few people know how to do. So that's why supplementing, even if it's just these first 5 basic things, is so critically important. So the second thing, greens. Okay? I always give the examples of the strongest, biggest boned, biggest muscle animals on the planet. They all eat grass. Whether it's an elephant, or a giraffe, or a hippopotamus. I don't know, what are some others? Cows, buffalo, rhinoceros. I mean, all these huge animals with these massive bones. I mean, they have bones this big around. Okay, they're not worried about fracturing their bones from osteoporosis. Okay, all they do is eat grass and green foods all day. Okay, so this whole protein thing, calcium thing, they're all myths. They're all because we don't eat right and we don't eat the right foods. It's as simple as that. Okay? So you don't need bone drugs. You don't need all these things. Okay? You just need to change your lifestyle and the way you eat. Again, this is just the first few things you should do. So, greens. A lot of people have a bad thoughts when it comes to greens because mom or dad forced them to eat greens when they were a kid and they didn't like them, and so you just don't let the kids eat the greens, and then the kid eats Pop-Tarts and Fruit Loops and Welch's grape juice their whole childhood, and then the children develop a health problem, and the parents come in here and they go, my kid won't eat that, my kid won't take that, and I just want to shake them because, you know, you better fix it now or they're never going to fix it in the future. They're not going to fix it on their own. You know, you need to be a parent and give them what they need and change their taste buds. It's not that the reason they don't like it is because they're used to sugary foods and salty foods and junk food. Okay, that stuff's designed to taste good. it messes up our body chemistry. Our body chemistries are so messed up that we don't know what good, healthy food tastes like. I have people that don't like water. They literally will not drink water because they don't like the taste. Has anybody known anybody that's done that? I see a lot of people shaking their head. How is it humanly possible that you don't like the taste of water? Does that even make sense? It doesn't even make sense. But years and years of drinking soda and alcohol and coffee and all this stuff that completely acidifies and destroys the inside of your body changes your body chemistry so much that it doesn't know something good when it hits it. And that's a very, very scary state of health to be in. So, it's not going to be fun, it's not going to be pleasant, maybe especially in the beginning, but you need to start changing your body chemistry. You need to start putting greens in your system. Even if you have to mix them in apple juice, or I don't care if you mix greens in your dang meatloaf. Do something to take them, seriously, because you need to get nutrition into your body. And do whatever it takes, but start putting these foods in your body, because what you'll find is when you start putting amazing things in your body chemistry changes. You start to crave them. You start to want them. You start to feel so good that you're like, wow, I should do this more often. But people don't even know what it's like to feel good. They're so used to feeling miserable their whole lives because they've been on the standard American diet, SAD, SAD, the SAD diet their whole lives, that they don't even know what it is like to feel good. So give it a shot. I guarantee you, once you feel it, you probably won't want to go back. So, green foods. Obviously that's green vegetables, things like that, but the easiest way to do it is just get a greens powder. They're not that expensive. You can buy stuff in bulk, or you can just get a good greens powder blend and mix it up in water or apple juice, or mix it in a vegetable juice drink, or just mix it in something. For kids, you can mix it up in applesauce. They won't even know it hit them. So, there's easy ways to do this. Third one is essential fatty acids. Another foundational product. One of the worst mistakes ever in the history of dieting, which is just a dumb word, but because it always seems temporary, it's never permanent when you diet. Low-fat diets, 1970s. Okay, this destroyed the health of America, low-fat diets. And there's still a lot of confusion today because people are still scared of fats today. Okay, and I know I'm a little funny in some of the stuff I write, but I gave you a little list here because I'm going to tell you how hard it is. We can do a whole class on fats, on what's good and what's bad and things like that, but I'm going to summarize it for you. I'm going to give you a list of things, and you think real hard. Did God make this, or did man make this? Okay, so if I gave you a list of avocado, almonds, trans fats, coconuts, hydrogenated and partially hydrogenated fats, sunflower seeds, margarine, pumpkin seeds, and deep fat fried foods. Could you tell me which of those man-made and which of those God-made? It's really not very hard.
Yeah, you can say it.
It's not hard.
Avocado is from nature, and margarine is from us we made.
That's for sure.
Hydrogenated fat, partially hydrogenated, that's main handmade, men, people made.
You got it down.
Sunflower is nature, almond are nature, trans fat are made, coconut are nature, pumpkin seed are nature, fat fried food, we made it.
Exactly. So it's pretty easy, right?
Yeah.
Anybody can figure this out. You don't have to take a class on fats to understand who made the food. Yes?
Well, how much fat are you talking about?
Well, if you eat good fats, it really doesn't matter that much. There's islanders that live all over the world that 50% of everything they eat is coconut. They probably eat 60 grams of saturated fat a day, and there's not one of them are overweight. So there's no reason to be scared of fats if you actually put the right things inside your body.
You don't concern about the calories of the fat?
Absolutely not. No. Calorie counting is the biggest waste of time you could ever possibly do.
Well, I mean, you talked on the last page about 1,000 calories for long-lived cultures.
Do you think they count their calories when they eat?
No.
Exactly. They eat good foods. We did that because we're Americans and we have to figure out how many calories they eat to be healthy.
Yeah.
That's because
They don't count their calories. They don't care. They eat good stuff. They don't have any of all this bad fats and McDonald's. They don't have that stuff.
There's no calories in vegetables.
Yeah.
You eat lots
So,
and lots
yeah, we really don't need to count calories and count fat grams and things like that. I mean, that's really silly.
All the fat you want.
We need, well, you need to learn what to put in your body, you know?
Well, you listen to your body. When you're full, you stop.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, obviously, if you ate, 5 handfuls of almonds, it could probably make you sick, right? You wouldn't do that. So, like she said, listen to your body. You got to do things in moderation. It's not an excuse to just eat whatever, as much or whatever the heck you want. Just moderation. So, any questions on fats? I put just a few of a short list of like hundreds of critical, important things about fat. Yes?
I have an opposite question. How much do you have to eat? Not how much do you get to, but more like how much. I always have a problem with how much do I have to eat?
Well,
How much fat do I have?
okay, just as an example, when it comes to fat specifically,
Fat, yeah.
okay, when it comes to fat, how much should you eat is the question. Udo Erasmus, who's kind of one of the pioneers of the benefits of essential fatty acids and how much we need, he says as a general rule of thumb, 1 tablespoon of oil, again, that's if it's an oil form, but 1 tablespoon per 50 pounds of body weight. So for the average person, anywhere from 2 to 4 tablespoons of fats a day. That could be coconut, that could be an avocado, that could be sunflower seeds or flax seeds or, whatever. But that's olive oil, absolutely. So that's a general rule of thumb, okay? So like in that, the last paragraph on fats, I just put some of the basic functions. I mean, your brain's made of fat, so degenerative brain conditions, not from getting enough fatty acids. Children, a lot of children that have hyperactivity and ADD and ADHD, those are the medical terminology. But you give essential fats to them, they calm down, they chill out, they focus, they relax. Okay, they're just deficient because they're eating, Cocoa Puffs. So they need nutrients. So sex hormones, okay, critically important. If you cut off the fat out of your diet, your libido will drop like a rock. Okay, you see that with people taking cholesterol medication. Your veins and arteries, very protective of your veins and arteries. It's how you metabolize fat-soluble vitamins, A, D, E, and K. Vitamin D from the sun, okay? People are vitamin D deficient. They go get a test. First question I ask them is, on cholesterol medication? Yeah. How are you going to metabolize vitamin D? You don't have any fat in your system. I didn't put this on the note, but I just want to make a note about cholesterol medications, just because I think they're one of the worst things you could possibly put in your body, and here's why. Cholesterol is an essential nutrient that the liver produces every single day. Okay, your liver produces cholesterol every single day. Why? Because you need it for all these functions I just listed here, and so many more. For brain function, for fat-soluble vitamins, for your veins and arteries, on and on and on and on. Hormone production. So there's a reason your liver produces it. Okay, the reason you have high cholesterol isn't because your liver messed up and started making too much just for the fun of it. Okay, the body doesn't really do that. The reason you have high cholesterol is because your liver stops working, your gallbladder and or liver aren't functioning properly. Okay, your system's getting backed up. You're eating meat 3 meals a day. How many Americans do that? Way too much meat. Okay, liver gets toxic, overly toxic. The kidneys get overly toxic. The system starts to back up. The blood starts to get thick, and the blood starts to get sluggish. It's way too much for the body to process and handle. It can't get rid of it all. It all has to be filtered through the liver. So it sits in the bloodstream. So you go to the doctor and he says, you have high cholesterol, take this drug. What does the drug do? The drug stops your liver from producing the life-saving cholesterol that you need and does nothing to address your horrible diet and your liver problems that has caused it in the first place. So it's a double negative effect on your health. It's very frightening. Read the side effects. It's disgusting. So that's just one medication I want to mention, but I'm big on that one. Probiotics. Real quick on this. You might say, if you went back to my example like the Hunzas and these other people, they didn't take probiotic supplement, but almost every single one of them ate fermented foods. They ate kefir, or they fermented vegetables, they eat some kind of fermented foods. There was a culture in Bulgaria that they actually named a bacterial strain after Bulgaricus, because this group of people that lived on this side of the mountain were living to be 100, and the people on the other side of the mountain were living to be 70, and they were trying to figure out why. It's because these people ate fermented foods. Okay, that's your probiotics. Living strains, living bacteria. Okay, you have trillions of them on your body. And they get wiped out from long-term antibiotic use and alcohol and just all the bad foods we eat and all those kind of things. wipes out our gut. Okay, and you need those bacteria in your gut for just some of the things I mentioned in here, but they create a lot of vitamins, B vitamins. They cleanse your intestinal tract. They keep pathogens and other invaders out that shouldn't be there. So that's something, again, that everybody can benefit from, a good probiotic supplement. When I work with infants, for example, like really, really young children, and they got crazy things going on with eczema and reactions to things, you can't give children a lot of things. You can't give herbs to a child. So I always tell the parents to really up the probiotic dose on the child to boost his immune system. Well, that and get off cow's milk and things like that if they're giving that to their child, and then usually the problem fixes itself. So probiotics are very important. The fifth one, fiber. I make the funny example of, we eat a lot of glue. When I was in grade school anyway, and we needed to make glue, we took white flour, same stuff you'd buy in the grocery store, we'd make white flour and mix water with it, and you'd have paste. Okay, that was glue. And it was pretty darn good, solid glue. Okay? Think of how much white bread we eat. Think how many hot dogs and hamburger buns and things we've eaten over the years. Okay, it's glue. It sticks into the intestinal tract, and it causes blockages. Might be tomorrow, might be in 10 years, might be in 40 years, but it eventually is going to cause a problem. So fiber, that's your sweeper. Okay, it goes through, sweeps out your colon, keeps it clean. So you need fiber. I'm not going to get into a long conversation about all the different types of fiber, because there's lots of different types of fiber for different purposes, for different people. But I am a big fan of chia seeds. I did mention that in here. Chia seeds are mucilaginous, which means they're slippery. They don't stick to anything. They're not going to get stuck in your colon, and they help just push things through. Plus, chia seeds are very nutrient dense. They contain all the 3,6,9 fatty acids. They have lots of protein, et cetera, et cetera. It's a very good superfood to put in your body as well. So that's it for phase one. That's the basic foundation that everybody needs. Any questions on that?
Probiotic. Where is it? I mean, you say fermented food. What about the yogurt and all the stuff?
Yeah, yogurt's a fermented food. It's just really weak. It's in the grocery store, so it's pasteurized. So you can make your own really easy. I have the culture starter kits where you can make your own kefir, you can make your own fermented vegetables. It seems really intimidating at first. It was for me, but when you do it, you're like, my gosh, it's so easy. I actually did a class on it, and you can watch that class online. I did a class on how to make fermented foods. It's super duper simple.
Yeah, I do some kind
Oh, okay.
of stuff. But I want to make sure, because I heard you don't have to buy the kind of powder or that kind of probiotic that isn't really not alive. I want to know what the difference is and what is how to work, because actually I tried to make yogurt, coconut yogurt from the one you buy, the powder, and it worked. Yeah, but I don't know how good is that.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I trust Body Ecology. I have the Body Ecology starter kits. They're really good. The key to the bacteria, when you put them in a little bit of warm water, is feeding sugar to them. And I go over all that in that class. But you got to feed the bacteria with sugar so they wake up and they eat it. Okay. And I use chicory, which is a product there called Eco Bloom, but you can use honey, you can use any kind of sugar to feed the bacteria. And then you got to let them sit for a while. Okay. Okay, so phase two. Okay, again, these are things that you can add that are just great things to add, but do the first step first. Okay, get that under control first. Herbal Multivitamin. I'm not even a big fan of taking multivitamins. I don't take a multivitamin. I've never taken a multivitamin. Actually, I take that back. About 10 years ago, I was taking a GNC Mega Man multivitamin until I found out that was crap. But now, I don't take a multivitamin because you shouldn't need to take a multivitamin. And people want to take a multivitamin because they think it's going to fix them or something. Oh, I'm going to be healthy. I'm taking a multivitamin. But they haven't done, they don't have any of these other first 5 things in their body, and they haven't exercised in 6 months, and they eat fast food, but they take a multivitamin, so they're healthy. That's pretty common in the United States. So multivitamin can be very beneficial, but it has to be whole food based. Again, nutrients, vitamins, and minerals, they come from foods, they come from plant foods. So when you read the back of your label, and if you want to learn a little bit about label reading, I did a whole class on it, it's on the internet. It needs to have food listed. 9 out of 10 multivitamins, especially if you buy it at Walmart or Costco or some other cheap place. I mean, people don't care what supplement they buy as long as it's cheap, which is just madness to me because, you know, most of the stuff that's in there is synthetically created in a laboratory. It's from coal tar derivatives. I jokingly say, where do I put that?
About the motor oil?
Yeah, where did I put that?
It's a kind of at the
Oh,
bottom.
yeah, right on the Herbal Multivitamin. Yeah, so I give you some of the sources for B vitamins. Almost everybody knows what B vitamins are, right?
Mm-hmm.
So rice bran, royal jelly, bee pollen, brewer's yeast, nutritional yeast. The richest source, this is just funny, so I just thought I'd throw it out there. The richest source of B vitamins is actually an herb in Chinese medicine called polyrachis, which I just got in the other day. Does anybody know what polyrachis is? Ants. I know that sounds gross to most people, but if you look at some of the strongest animals on the entire planet that are vegetarians, like chimpanzees and orangutans and apes and things like that, that literally have 10 times the strength of a human being, they're vegetarians, but they eat ants, every single one of them. And they are loaded with vitamins and minerals and nutritions, all the B vitamins, vitamin B12, which is missing in a lot of people's diets, and protein, crazy amounts of protein.
Is
So,
your herb ground up or is it in my-
it's ground up. You should. It's powerful. I had some today, man.
You know, that's just, if it works,
Hey, you know, has anybody here eat chocolate covered ants?
No.
See, I have.
So how do you eat
Oh,
it?
that's a shock.
You just, is it?
I tasted it because I wanted to see how it tasted. It was really strong, but no, I'd probably mix it in hot water or mix it in a tea or something.
Okay.
I just said that to be funny, but it's true. I mean,
Kind of like
you
last
know, again, these are some foods that different people and different cultures have eaten, ants and grasshoppers and things like that. I know it's weird to us, but in other cultures it's not. You know, and they don't have diabetes and heart disease and cancer, so we can't laugh at them. Okay.
I just wouldn't tell somebody it works, but it's true.
Yeah, I know. What is that? Ant tea?
Yeah.
So the second one is superfoods. Okay. I truly believe like this is just something magical you can do for your health. Again, get the foundation in first, but start putting superfoods in your diet. Start putting amazing things into your body and you'll see your body change. I gave a slight list of them, but the reason these superfoods are so amazing and so powerful is because most of the fruits and vegetables we're eating were conventionally grown or maybe organically grown. Okay, but again, they're grown by farmers. Okay, they're babied. Oh, you need some water, little plant, you know, and it's always taken care of. And when a plant's babied and taken care of like that, the roots are very shallow. Okay, the plant doesn't have to go searching for nutrients because it's got mama taking care of them all the time. Okay, superfoods are different. Superfoods grow in the jungle. They grow in the mountain. They grow in a meadow somewhere. Okay, they're harvested in their natural environment. Some of these foods like noni, I mean, these are trees that grow in Hawaii. And they're so loaded with nutrients, it's ridiculous. That's why they're called superfoods. That's where they get that term superfood. It's because they have vitamins and minerals still in them because they're growing in wild. When the plant grows in the wild, it is very nutrient dense because it has to survive nature. It has to survive the elements. It has to survive storms. It has to survive ants attacking it. It has to survive viruses and bacteria and all these things that are always thrown at the plant. So it builds up these natural resistances. It has to keep going deeper into the soil to get more minerals, to make it stronger, to make it more powerful and resistant. That's why I love herbs and superfoods so much, because they have that power in them. Unlike, again, these farm-raised foods that just aren't doing that much for us. So again, if you want to decide where to put your money, put your money in something that's going to give you a good return. Not saying don't buy organic fruits and vegetables, but when I go to Whole Paycheck and I need to get some fruits and vegetables, man, I'm like $80 and I'm like, man, I got like 6 vegetables. What's going on? So, I eat those things, yeah, but I try to eat as many superfoods as I can because they give me a lot more bang for my buck. Trust me. And I'm going to do a class just for fun next month. I don't know when I'm going to do it. But a lot of people have heard of those drink juices like the Monavi and like all that stuff out there. I'm going to show you how to make that yourself with 10 times more nutrients in it and about 1/5 of the cost.
Cool.
Okay?
And healthier.
And healthier. It's so easy to do. It's silly. And we're spending $50, $60 a bottle for this stuff when you can make it in 5 minutes and it'll cost you nothing and it'll have 10 times more nutrients. When you look at the bottle of Monavi and you see 100 milligrams of goji and 300 milligrams of acai, When I show you what that actually looks like, you'll laugh at that. It's a joke. Okay, there's hardly anything in there. It's mostly fruit juice. Okay, spend a lot of money for fruit juice. So we'll do that another time. It'll be fun. So superfoods, yeah, just raw cacao, which is chocolate, one of the most nutrient-dense foods on the entire planet. There's a guy who's 110 years old, lives in the United States. They interviewed him. They said, what are your 5 favorite foods? 2 of his 5 favorite foods were honey and chocolate. Okay, chocolate is amazing for your health. It's one of the richest antioxidant foods on the entire planet. Okay, but not in a Hershey bar. I know, I saw a lot of people get sad all of a sudden. Not in 100 Grand, not in a Kit Kat. You know, those things taste really good, but the raw chocolate, the raw cacao is completely destroyed and processed out. All the minerals are out and they've added sugar in, so it tastes really good. Now, raw cacao tastes amazing on its own, but you have to mix it with something sweet. I mean, there's all kinds of great recipes. I got some on my website, but there's all kinds of things you can do. If you want the best chocolate sauce on the planet, just take raw cacao, coconut oil, and a little bit of honey or agave, and mix it up in a food processor, and it'll be the best chocolate sauce you've ever had in your whole life, and crazy good for you. Okay, so it can be really super simple. I always like to say that because, you know, people think eating healthy is gross and tastes bad and things like that, and that's just not the truth. I mean, eat chocolate. Yes. So, chia seeds, mangosteen, maca, mesquite powder, coconut, goji berries, one of the most nutrient-dense foods on the planet. Hemp seeds, crazy amount of protein in it. I mean, we could talk about each one of these for an hour, but just start putting these superfoods in your diet because they're just really, really powerful, and they're going to give your body something that it might be lacking or it might be needing, and you'll feel the difference when you start eating these things on a regular basis. And at the end, I just put, if you want to feel amazing, put amazing things in your body. If you want to feel crappy, keep putting crappy things in your body. It's really as simple as that. So, herbs. Get on a good herbal regimen or program. I help people with this. You don't have to be a master herbalist to learn how to use herbs. I know it's intimidating to a lot of people. That's another series of classes I'm going to have coming up, is teaching people how to use herbs, just like beginning herbal classes, so you can learn how to treat yourself and use these herbs. Without getting into too much detail, because I've had a lot of training with herbs. I trained with 3 master herbalists when I lived out in Vegas and in Utah. But I just give you 2 examples of herbs you can focus on that makes it super duper simple. One is a classification of herbs called Nutritive Herbs, and the second one is a classification of herbs called Chinese Tonic Adaptogenic Herbs. These are herbs that anyone can take. You don't have to know how much. You don't have to worry about taking too much. You don't have to worry about causing a reaction or something like that. They're safe for everybody to take because they're loaded with vitamins and minerals and nutrients. I give just a very short list of nutritive herbs: ginger, nettle, ginkgo biloba, chlorella, spirulina. It would also be all your grasses like barley grass, wheat grass, oat grass, all of those types of things. Milk thistle, red raspberry, aloe. These are things that you can take every day. I know people that take 1 or 2 tablespoons of milk thistle every day and mix it in their shake or their yogurt. Great. You know, you can't take too much. Especially when it comes to whole foods like this, your body will utilize what it needs and it'll get rid of the rest. Okay? So I'm not saying your body's going to use all of it if you take too much, but I think it's not going to hurt you. Okay? And I always tell people to start slow and kind of work your way up, because sometimes when you put amazing things in your body and you never have put amazing things in your body before, you can have a little bit of a kind of a cleansing reaction to it. So start slow and work your way up. You don't want to shock your body all at once. Yeah?
Do you know of any of these that would, for the palate, it's a good place to start? Because I know I've tried the ginger and that was gross, and then I got the spirulina. Thank you.
Right.
And my dogs are now doing that because like
Dogs like it though, don't they?
Yeah, they're fine. But I actually do sprinkle it on their food.
Well, being creative, you know, I mean, I cook with ginger. I use ginger in my fermented foods that I make. Mixing it in a shake or smoothie with berries and things like that, you won't taste it. Actually, apple juice. Remember I talked about how I'm going to show people how to make juices like Mon Avis? Get some cherry juice or juice some fresh apples and add these things to the apples. The sweetness of the juice, you'll never ever taste these things. So that's an easy way to do it. Just be creative.
Some of them come in capsules
Yeah, spirulina and chlorella you can get in tablets, and you can just, they're super itty, teeny, weeny tablets, and they're super easy to swallow. So that's another good way to do it. And they break down immediately because they're plant-based. I mean, you break them down in your mouth just with your saliva if you suck on them for a couple minutes. They break down immediately. So that's a good way to do it. So then the other one is the Chinese tonic herbs. Amazing, amazing, amazing. There's a book by Ron Teagarden called The Superior 22 Chinese Tonic Herbs. Nobody studied herbs more than the Chinese. They studied tens of thousands of plants. Out of the tens of thousands of plants that they've studied, they said, here's a list of 22 plants that are the most amazing things you could ever possibly put in the human body. They've done all the research for us. All we got to do is start using them. Things, some of you have heard of some of these, maybe not all of them, but the ginsengs, Chinese ginseng, Panax ginseng, American ginseng. You got ashwagandha, astragalus, schisandra berries, your medicinal mushrooms like reishi mushrooms and chaga mushrooms. These are amazing, amazing foods. And I say foods because they're foods, okay? Everything you eat that's a plant is a food. You know, we consider a carrot and blueberries food, but we consider ashwagandha like something from another planet or something. It's just because it's new to us. Okay, but like astragalus, for example, they call it the most advanced herb for beginners. It's sweet, it tastes good, you can do large amounts of it, it'll make you feel amazing, it'll give you energy, but it'll calm and relax you on the inside. It's just a powerful, powerful plant. Your body will get used to things over time. So I practice this myself, and I recommend other people do it. Switch it up. Do some astragalus. You know, this month I'm going to do a tablespoon of each of astragalus and ashwagandha. See what that does for me, see how that makes me feel. I'm going to do that for a month, and then I'm going to switch to some deer antler and some schisandra berries, or whatever. I mean, they're all Chinese tonic herbs. You know, you can ask me some questions, you know, based on what you're dealing with, I can recommend what might be best for you, because different herbs are good for different things, specifically. But the bottom line is they're safe for you to take every day. Ashwagandha, when you dig up the root, it looks like a little man, looks like a little person, because it's a full body tonic. Okay, so anybody can take it. It's amazing for the thyroid. Okay, chaga mushrooms, amazing for the liver and the gallbladder, builds the immune system. But these are things you can just drink as a tea every day. You can mix them in foods. Astragalus and ashwagandha are really good as a thickener, like a soup thickener. You can put them in your soup and make a soup stock with it, thicken your soup with it. All kinds of creative things we can do with these. Right? But they're powerful, and you'll feel the difference. So I gave just a couple of examples. Stressed out and anxious. I mean, I sell a ton of holy basil. I think everybody in America can benefit from holy basil. It just makes you feel calm and relaxed and awesome. I love holy basil. I drink holy basil with a pinch of licorice root every single morning. Because all these people I deal with all day are crazy. No, I'm just kidding. But seriously, it really just helps calm me and relax me and just makes me feel good. And, you know, it's just, I love holy basil. And I know a lot of people here. Anybody here taking holy basil that loves it? Oh, rock on. There's like 5 or 6 people.
I bought it, I have it, and never take it.
Oh, no, you need to.
Yeah, but I don't know how to use it. So
Hot tea, teaspoon and a cup of hot water.
But the herb is dry.
Drink it.
Just-
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. That's why we're going to do some classes on herbs, because people think like a tea that you like have to strain it, like, or it's not a tea or something. No, I mean it's
Put it in my smoothie.
a plant, it's a food. Just throw the powder in there and just drink it up. You're going to get more benefit out of it that way anyway. You're going to get the whole plant. You're not going to throw all the good stuff away.
Plus it's good fiber.
Yeah, plus it's good fiber, exactly. So yeah, thyroid, black walnuts, great because it's rich in iodine. Ashwagandha, kelp, liver, milk thistle, chaga reishi mushrooms, asparagus, artichoke. So I just give a few examples there. So that's phase 2. That's amazing things to add in. Now you notice we haven't even talked about, and I'm not saying these aren't good things, but you notice we haven't talked about like CoQ10 and niacin and thiamine and vitamin E and okay, those things are great to take. But if you're opening your cabinet and you're taking 27 pills every day because you got a vitamin A and a B complex and a C and a D and E and a K and a CoQ10 and a magnesium, oh, and you need your calcium supplement. Don't forget the silica and the strontium and the vanadium.
Yeah.
You know, and then you need something to balance your blood sugar, you know, so you're taking nopal cactus and aloe. I mean, you're going nuts, okay? Build a foundation first, add the superfoods and herbs, and then add the CoQ10, especially if you're on cholesterol medication, it's sucking it all out of your body, okay? Then add what you need from there. But build a foundation first. Don't expect to get better because you read about CoQ10 and now you're taking CoQ10. That's why people go, I took that supplement and it doesn't work. Okay, you have no foundation. You have no foundation for health. So build the foundation first. Phase 3, what you need. I'm not going to really get into this, but that's where I come in, or a chiropractor or some other natural health practitioner can do some tests, some biomeridian testing, a face analysis, acupuncture, whatever, to figure out where your weaknesses are and where you need to focus. A lot of people need to focus on their liver. A lot of people have blocked, congested gallstones. They have lymphatic blockages. They have their colons blocked. They need colonics, like we do here. That Angel that's here at Natural High. So get some help on that area. But if you start with phase 1 and phase 2, and then you come see me, man, it's gonna be like that. Because you're already 80% of the way there. You can do 80 to 90% of your health on your own, even if you have a chronic health condition, by building the foundation first. And then maybe I just need to tweak a little something here and there. Okay? But if you come to me all broken, which is fine, not discouraging that. If you come to me completely broken, I'm going to tell you, okay, we need to do these other things first. Then then we can get more specific later. But some people, they have to start at the beginning, and that's okay. You start now. But you got to start there. You got to build that foundation. I can't just give you some CoQ10 and miraculously all your problems just disappear. As much as we like that to happen, it just doesn't work that way. So that's my spiel. Any questions?
I just want to say on the water thing, a lot of people don't understand it, but like you said, water is basically dead. When you put minerals in the water, you'll hydrate yourself so much faster, because where minerals go, water goes. And if the minerals get into the cell, it's just osmosis. The water will then go into the cell and then come back out and detox you and you'll get hydrated.
Right.
And
Yep.
so whatever you do, no matter what water you drink, unless you are fortunate to have this room in your backyard, you put minerals in it, and it's behind you hydrating yourself so much better.
Amen. I mean, we're just I like to picture the body as like an ocean of electrical activity. Okay, everything that's going on is firing. Things are firing in the body. Neurons and neurotransmitters and things are firing. And that happens through electricity, which is water and minerals. Okay, so if you're drinking, again, distilled reverse osmosis water, you're not drinking the minerals, you got nothing in there firing. Okay, it's like having a battery on a car that's dead. Okay, you got to get the minerals in there, and you want to put them in your water, because that's what causes things to fire. So again, that's part of that foundation. Any other questions?
That Brita, all it does it take out, like, it doesn't do anything at all?
Better than nothing.
Okay.
I mean, really.
I mean, it's basically carbon and maybe takes out some of the chlorine or something?
Yeah, and it's hard to say for sure. It might get out the chlorine. It definitely doesn't get out the fluoride. Hardly anything gets out the fluoride, but it'll get some of the main contaminants out. Does anyone know the #1 contaminant found in tap water?
Lead.
Yeah, used toilet paper.
Oh, yum.
Yeah, pretty much every prescription drug you can think of. I mean, you're doing birth control and all kinds of stuff you couldn't even imagine if you're drinking tap water. Yeah, Prozac. You're getting it all, man. You're wondering why that tap water makes you feel so good, huh? WALLACH. Uh-huh.
Can you tell me anything about the
MMS? The multiminerals?
Yeah.
Yeah?
You put it in, it's a, well.
Right.
I found one, but I don't know how to use it.
Oh, okay. It should give directions on there. I'm familiar with that product. It's a good product. It's a mineral product you add to your water. So.
The one I got is liquid.
Right.
And then you gotta put it, like, some kind of powder, the white powder, then acid.
I'm not sure. I've heard of it. I don't know all about it.